Hi guys, and welcome to a new video. So earlier this month I started reading a couple of books and then I got sick. And during the time that I was sick, I couldn't really read because my brain was hurting so much. And finally today I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm still not 100%, but I feel like today I can finally get back into reading. But I don't really feel like picking up those books that I had already started. I wanted to read something new, maybe something that has more mystery, a little bit more fast paced to kind of ease my way back into reading again. So the book that I think I'm going to start off with in this video is The House Saphir by Marissa Meyer. This is a fairy tale retelling of Bluebeard, and there's a mystery. The main character, she can see ghosts, I believe, and she is tasked by this young man to kind of get rid of the ghosts in his mansion. And the man is also like the great great grandson and heir to the Saphir estate. Also, I noticed that the words are so huge. So I figured this would be a fast and interesting read. I have read some books by Marissa Meyer in the past. I read her Luna Chronicles series. I quite enjoy those books at the time. But I also did read Heartless by Marissa Meyer, and that book made me so angry. But overall, I think she does a really good job with her fairy tale retelling. So I'm definitely super excited to start this book. And then I'll let you guys know more on what this book is about and also my first thoughts. So I have now read to about page 236 in The House Saphir. I'm pretty invested in the story right now. The story starts out with the main character, Mallory. She's giving a tour of this very famous house where this very wealthy man murdered his first wife. Our main character, Mallory, she and her sister are descended from a line of witches, but currently Mallory doesn't really have any powers besides being able to see ghosts. So far, the story hasn't really explored much on what her sister's powers are, but Mallory and her sister have been earning money by swindling people, like giving fake fortune reading, and in Mallory's case, she's currently giving this illegal tour of this wealthy man that killed his first wife and later moved on to kill also his second and third wife. So I don't want to spoil too much, but things happen during the tour that Mallory is giving. The great great grandson of that wealthy man who murdered his wives shows up and asks Mallory and her sister to help him with a certain ghost that is showing up in his family home. The young man's name is Armand. Armand tells them that this ghost is kind of wreaking havoc in his family home and is interfering with the family business. And he has heard of Mallory and her sister being witches, and he thinks that they can help him to get rid of this ghost. Mallory and her sister agrees because they need the money. So they join the young man in his family home, and obviously sinister things start to happen at that place. I am actually quite enjoying the story. This book kind of reminds me of House and Roots and Ruin by Irene Craig, and also a bit of Belladonna by Adeline Grace because the main characters can see ghosts, and there's also like some gothic vibes and a mystery that they have to solve. I don't think like the story in itself is anything mind blowing, but I'm still really enjoying it and very entertained by the story. It's exactly the kind of book that I need right now that I'm still recovering from the flu and trying to ease my way back into reading again. I enjoy all the characters. I'm definitely suspicious of Arman. I'm sure there's gonna be some twists and some secrets being revealed related to him. Besides ghosts, there are also other like creatures and monsters that appear throughout the story. It seems kind of random because I right now I can't really see the link of these creatures with the actual plot of the story. I do enjoy Mallory and her sister. They have very different personalities, and I'm not too invested in the romance. I'm mostly invested in the mystery and wanting to know more about, why that Bluebeard character, why he killed his wives, like what is he trying to achieve. Yeah, so overall, I'm enjoying this. I think I might finish this soon because I'm already past halfway through this book, and I'm sure the remaining half is gonna be very fast paced since we already established the characters, the setting, and now all we need to do is get to the climax point in the story. Yeah, so I'm excited to keep reading this, and then I'm sure my next update is gonna be when I finish this book. So I have now finished reading The House of Fair by Marissa Meyer, and I really enjoyed this book. I thought the writing was good, and even though the plot is a little bit predictable, I still had a lot of fun with the story. I will say like the little like climax point of how they kind of resolve the Bluebird situation was a little bit underwhelming, but I did like the ending of this book. My thoughts on the romance is pretty much the same as how I felt at my last check in. I didn't really care much for the romance, but I was definitely enjoying the mystery and learning about the lore. And I also want to mention that there are some characters that appear in this book that's not talked about in the summary. And I can see the potential for a spin off based on these characters. And also on Mallory's sister, I can definitely see the potential in their stories. And I would definitely read that book if Marissa decides to write, another interconnected standalone based on these characters. And then this morning, I also started reading a new book. I started The Keeper of Magical Things by Julie Leong. I'm about 110 pages into this right now, and I'm really enjoying the story. This is a cozy fantasy, and we're following a novice mage. Her name is Certainty, And she has been a novice for a couple of years now, and she really wants to be like an official mage, but she hasn't been able to pass the trials. And she believes that her magic is not very useful. Like, she can communicate with objects, but she is then given a chance to prove herself with an assignment that was given by the head mage. So currently, the guild is facing an issue with an overflow of magic, and this overflow of magic is causing some problems, like turning some of the stuff into vegetables. And the reason why there is an overflow of magic is because the guild is currently holding a lot of magical artifacts. So the head mage is assigning certainty to transport these excess of magical artifacts to a little like secluded village that has lost most of its magic, and that would be like the perfect place to keep and contain these artifacts. But certainty is only a novice mage, so the guild also assigned an official mage on this assignment. And this mage, her name is Aurelia, and she's a bit of like an ice queen, a very uptight, but she's quite a powerful mage. So now they both have to kind of work together on this assignment. There is also a little bit of a sapphic romance, but the romance is very subtle right now. They're just like getting to know each other and still learning to see things from each other's perspective. And there's definitely a lot of walls that need to be brought down. Yeah, so far it's a pretty easy read, low stakes, and I really enjoy the writing style in this book. Is definitely giving very cozy vibes. So my plan for the rest of today is to try to read as much as I can, and I would like to finish this book by tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna make some tea and then I'm going to continue reading this book. It's the next day, and I have now made it to about page 226 in The Keeper of Magical Things. This is just such a easy, cute, and cozy read. So actually, our main characters don't only have to transport the magical artifacts to this small village, they also have to spend some time there to organize the artifacts and also write down a record of the uses of every single artifact, which is kind of the perfect job for certainty because of her magic of being able to communicate with objects. Initially, when our main characters arrived at the villagers were a bit unwelcoming, and also Aurelia gave them a really bad first impression because Aurelia is from the city, so she has a different upbringing and a different outlook, and she's also not very sociable. And also, another reason why the villagers were a little bit unwelcoming is because there used to be magic in the land, but they lost the magic because of the war caused by mages. But over time, as our characters spend time in the village and start to interact more with the villagers, and they also, with magic, help the villagers to deal with some of the issues they were facing. So our main characters start to form a close relationship and friendship with the villagers. There is definitely a lot of character growth, especially for Aurelia. Also, if you notice on the cover here, there is a cat with dragon wings, and this might be a spoiler and I might be completely off, but I think the author is kind of using the idea of the Schrodinger's cat to kind of explain or experiment on how the cat appears in the story. And since my last check-in, the romance has picked up a lot more. We're now sort of in the yearning stage. Yeah, so overall, I am still enjoying reading this book and I cannot wait to continue. I know this author has another book that came out before this one. I think it came out last year or maybe this year, earlier this year. And I'll put the cover here. It's also another cozy fantasy, so I would definitely be adding this book onto my TBR. And I'm actually going to end this video here. I was hoping to finish this book and then wrap up this video, but I don't think that I can finish this today. And I also don't want to rush myself. I want to take my time and just enjoy this book. And I also don't think my opinion is going to change because this is a cozy fantasy. So I don't think there's going to be like any twist or turn that's going to change my opinion on this book. But if I do end up having any other thoughts, I will add them to maybe the description or a comment under this video. So thank you guys so much again for clicking on this video. I hope you enjoyed this reading vlog and I will see you guys next time.